walk into this room at the Plaza Hotel and be alone with you again.
Yes. Just you and myself and a crew of thousands.
You're getting a little bit nervous, aren't you, Bobbie?
Right.
But you do a lot of traveling, don't you,
I
Bobbie?
do, and you do too.
You've got the greatest job in the world, don't you?
I think so, but don't tell them. I'd really do it for free, but for God's sake, don't tell them that.
And you get paid for this too? Jetting to London to interview Burt Reynolds and coming here to the Plaza?
Yes, to talk to Regis Philbin. Listen, I have always wanted to ask you this question. If you were a news director or a program director, would you hire a guy named Regis Philbin?
Boy, I'd think twice about that. That name is a killer, isn't it? You know, anybody named Regis Philbin, there's got to be something weird about him. And there is. No, I guess I've had a lot of fun with the name over the years. But no one's ever got it straight. You know, this is a difficult business. This is a business where you rely on recognition and people remembering you. Regis Philbin. I've been on television now for nearly 20 years, Bobbie, mostly on the West Coast, and I still get mail addressed to Phoebus Reben, riboflavin. You called me Phyllis Regan once. It's tough. It's tough.
It was that long wig you had on that threw me.
You asked me to put it on.
But it has to be your real name because nobody
sure.
would invent a showbiz name.
Named after a high school here in New York City. My father went to Regis High School and liked the name, and so gave it to me.
Well, you went to Notre Dame, but thank goodness your father didn't, or did he?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
To be Regis Notre Dame.
Philbin, yes.
Yes, right. Tell me about this new program that you're going to do for the network.
Well, you know, Bobbie, for a long time I was the entertainment editor out there on the West Coast for ABC, and also had the morning show. And, gee, the show was very popular and had an enormous rating and a big following. And I wondered for a long time whether or not I could translate this show from a local situation into a national thing, and wondered if I ever get the chance. And you know how life is. Everything takes time, and it's all in the timing, and suddenly a person like Grant Tinker becomes the head of NBC, and he used to watch our show. And when I was suggested to him, he said, let's try for it. So I had quite a decision to make, you know, because you're like the little king in your own market, like you know, the little queen going to London and all this. And there's a lot of security in that. And life is good. And then along comes a man who says, why don't you try it on the national situation? But you know, you only have 26 weeks. So I took a deep breath and I said, yeah, sure, I'd like it, I'll try for it. And I did it. And I thought I was going to faint after I made the decision. But 2 minutes later, I realized it was the only thing I could do. I had to say yes. So I'm going to try for it.
So it'll be primarily a talk show format?
Yeah, it's another talk show format. And everybody says, so what's different about your show? Well, there's nothing different about it. The only thing different about your talk show is the way you conduct it. It's the host himself. It's not going to be a comedy show. It's going to be primarily a woman's service show. I think they're the ones who are home at the hour we'll be on, which is 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock in Dallas. And I want to bring her the experts that would appeal to her, that would make a difference in her life. That's what we did in Los Angeles, and with a liberal sprinkling of celebrities and movie stars and so on. But primarily it's servicing her.
Are you concerned that some of the stations, because of their commitments to syndicated shows, won't be able to take your show?
Oh, it's a killer. Are you kidding? Everybody's got Richard Simmons, you know, up in his leotard running around, and Donahue with his glasses and his white hair sprinting back and forth. Everybody's got them, yeah. Sure, I'm concerned. You better believe it. What do you got on at 9 o'clock in Dallas?
Donahue running around.
Donahue running around with his with his glasses and his white hair. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. I just hope the networks will find a hole for me, and if they can't run me at the time that the network sends me down, I'm sorry, the affiliates find a hole for me, that each station will take a look at the show and hopefully find some place for it.
Yeah, but then that's...
Maybe if it even means firing Bobbie Wygant. I don't care. I'm on in.
You wouldn't like my time slot at all. You wouldn't like my time slot. You wouldn't
What
have
time
it
are you
on?
on?
5 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'll take it.
Regis, I didn't come here to be fired by you.
No, you're doing a great job.
One other question
Sure.
I want to ask you, because for so many years you did work with Joey Bishop.
Yeah.
And do you all still see one another?
You know, on one of the anniversaries of our show, we started in the second week in April of 1967, as a matter of fact. So on that Monday, I forget the date now, was it April 12th or something like that? Well, we brought him back a couple of years ago on our anniversary, and we devoted the whole show to him, and we played back some clips from the show, and we had the makeup guy there, and the producer, and the head writer, and it was a lot of fun.
Was
But
he
no, I don't have a
difficult?
chance to see him often. He's on the road a lot. As a matter of fact, I think he was in Texas, wasn't he?
He was, and that's one of the reasons I bring it up, because people in Texas found him very difficult to work with.
Is that right?
Yeah. Was he difficult with you?
Well, he certainly knows what he wants, and I was under contract to him, and we did it his way, which I think is only fair. After all, you only get a crack at a show like this ever so often, and he wanted to make sure that it was to be done his way. Now, that was his television show. I don't know what, it was in a play, and,
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
cast found it difficult.
Had Sybil Shepherd fired.
No kidding.
Yes. Yeah, big brouhaha throughout Texas.
Wow.
He actually had her fired in Houston. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
she played Dallas and then had her
Didn't
fired
get
in Houston.
along, huh?
I don't know what the problem was. The word we got was he's very difficult.
Wow. Well,
So,
it wasn't easy, I'll tell you that, and there was a lot of pressure in those days because Johnny's the king, let's face it. And when you're on the ABC was the third network in those days. We only had a limited number of stations, and there was a lot of pressure. We lasted 3 years, and the ratings were the highest ABC had in a late-night situation until Nightline came along. So it was a good show, but just because it didn't go on beyond 3 years, people look upon it as some kind of a failure. It wasn't a failure, I don't
not
think.
at all. It was a very entertaining
Yeah,
show
it was
as
a lot
well.
of fun, and we tried.
Well, Regis, I hope that we have a chance to see your show.
Well, Bobbie, I do too. When you've got Donahue at 9, Simmons at 10, you're taking the rest of the time. There's no time for me left in Dallas.
We'll find a place
I
for you.
hope so. I hope so, Bobbie. It's nice
Right
seeing you.
right after evening meditation.
Oh, great. I'll take it. Thanks, Bobbie.
Thank you. Super.